So by now, I'm sure you guys have seen Palantir stock is completely and utterly exploding. The stock's up around 20%, pushing $18 per share when just yesterday, guys, no joke, less than 24 hours ago, it was under $15 per share. So of course, in this video, you guys know the drill. We'll break down the charts. We're going to go over the earnings from this morning, my thoughts. So if y'all find value, smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe and follow me on X at Stas Talk Stocks. You might as well do that. Link down below. And if you want some free stocks, why not? Use that Moomoo link down below as well. Once you open up your account and fund it with your initial $100 deposit, you get 5 stocks right off the bat, each of which could be valued up to $2,000, and you get a free share of SoFi stock on top of those 5 stocks, which that part of the promo is limited time, guys. So we'll talk more about that later. Use that link down below. And with that being said, cheers. Let's dive into it. So what a day so far for Palantir, man. Holy crap. Up over $3 or almost $3, up around 20% on the day. And a lot of this, obviously, the majority of this move came from, after the earnings report. We did see a bit of excitement, if you will, before the earnings report. Palantir did get to about 1580 in the pre-market today before the numbers came out. We actually ran it to close yesterday and saw a nice pop in the aftermarket yesterday, and it just went ballistic. I mean, ballistic when the numbers actually came out. You guys can see the stock went from 1570 all the way to about 1775 in the pre-market. Then once the markets opened, boom, we ran up to 1830, pulled back a little bit, saw another pop to 1830. Then we saw a more sizable pullback, nothing too crazy, but we did see a pullback from 1830 to about, 1720. That was about a 6% drawdown. And since that point where we hit 1720 at about 11:30 a.m. here on the East Coast about 2 hours ago, since that point, Palantir has been recovering, and now we're starting to push the highs of the day. Yet again, now we're officially up over 20%. We have a golden cross on the intraday chart, guys. This is looking really good overall for the bull. So the headline numbers, let me read these to you guys, were, let's see here, guys. Let's come down a little bit and see. Q3 adjusted EPS came in at 7 cents, which beat the 6 cent expected. That's great. And sales also beat $558.16 million versus the $555.36 million expected. So they beat EPS and they beat on revenue. And if you guys didn't know, this is their 4th straight quarter of profitability, which means, you guessed it, maybe not, I'll tell you right now, they're officially eligible now for S&P 500 inclusion, which is probably a big reason as to why the stock is making a move right now, a big move. And of course, their guidance is pretty strong. Maybe you didn't see that. I'll tell you that right now. They now expect Q4 revenue of $599 to $603 million versus the $599 million expected. So the S&P 500 inclusion eligibility, they guided up for revenue in terms of Q4, and I believe their full year revenue was raised as well. Yeah, they raised 2023 revenue to $2.216 to $2.22 billion, which is awesome. You love seeing that when they raise their revenue guidance, guys. Let's see what else here. Before it was at $2.21 billion roughly, so they didn't raise it a crazy amount, but still, man, it's a lot higher, or not a lot higher, but it's higher than what it was before. And if we come over here now to the 4-hour chart quickly, we can see now we're pretty much fully breaking out yet again. It's crazy how earnings work, man. What earnings can do to a stock, right? It's insane. It went from a point where it was on the brinks of collapsing under $14, and now we're completely ripping. We're pushing $18. We're back over the moving averages. And are we taking the highs out from October yet? No, not quite yet, but we're pretty much right there right now. 1850, man, that is a big spot of resistance for Palantir, which, if I had to guess, by the looks of it right now, with how the stock's looking, we might rip right through that point. Is it guaranteed? Of course not, guys. Nothing's guaranteed. We don't know the future, or else we'd all be rich, right? But by the looks of it, man, with EPS beat revenue, the guidance, the S&P inclusion, man, this is looking, well, it's not official yet, but they're eligible to be included now. It's looking very, very strong in my opinion. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And you didn't think we'd end off the video before taking a look at the actual earnings release. Now, did you guys? Give me a second. Let me actually pull this up now so we can dive deeper into it. I'll make my big old head a little bit smaller. There we go, guys. So if I zoom in a bit so we can see what's going on here, we'll run through some of the highlights here financially. So GAAP net income of $72 million, representing a 13% margin. That's, again, the fourth consecutive quarter of GAAP profitability. Beautiful. And GAAP income from operations was $40 million, representing a 7% margin. That's their third consecutive quarter of GAAP operating profitability. And GAAP earnings per share, EPS, came in at 3 cents per share, and the adjusted number, which we went over before, was 7 cents per share. Revenue grew at a nice 17% clip year over year to $558 million. I believe last year they did what was it, like 430-ish million? I'm probably off on that. 440 million revenue, whatever it was. But either way, year over year, they're growing 17%. Commercial revenue grew 23% year over year to $251 million, as the U.S. commercial revenue grew 33% to, let's see, $116 million. You guys can see right here. And government revenue grew 12% year over year to $308 million, and customer count, which is huge, very important, grew from, let's see, what were the numbers here? I forget. I was reading this earlier. Oh, here it is, guys. 132 customers to 181 customers. That was a 34%. Actually, no, overall customer count grew 34%. U.S. commercial customer count grew 37%. You guys can see right here, year over year, from 132 customers in Q3 2022 to 181 customers in Q3 of 2023. Oops, you guys can see that. Now you can see that. There we go, guys. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. So adjusted income from operations came in at $163 million, representing a margin of 29%. So adjusted income from operations came in at $163 million, representing a margin of 29%. And that was their fourth consecutive quarter of expanding adjusted operating margins. That's good. Cash from operations, $133 million. Adjusted free cash flow of $141 million in cash and cash equivalents, and short-term U.S. Treasury securities, if I could talk today, guys, came in at $3.3 billion. So, of course, they're still flushed with cash. We talked about their balance sheet yesterday. They have a very strong, pristine balance sheet, at least in my opinion. What do you guys think? And the biggest highlights here were revenue grew year over year to $2.61 billion. These are the trailing 12-month highlights, right, guys? U.S. commercial revenue grew 23% year over year to $403 million. GAAP net income of $147 million, representing a 7% margin. GAAP income from operations of $36 million, representing a 2% margin. Cash from operations came in at $490 million, representing a 23% margin. And the adjusted free cash flow of $502 million, which that represents a 24% margin, with adjusted income from operations of, let's see, $538 million, representing a 25% margin. So we're not going to dive too deep into the actual financials here. We did talk about the highlights, but looking at all this stuff here will take too long, no doubt. But here we have the consolidated statement of operations. Here we have, let's see, where's the balance sheet at? Here's the balance sheet, guys. We can see right here, total assets right now at $4.1 billion. Total liabilities, let's see, about 930 billion, or million rather. That was 4.1 billion of assets. Now we have total current assets of $3.8 billion, with total current liabilities at $688 million. So of course their current ratio is freaking awesome. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Their balance sheet is pretty pristine if you're looking at that metric. So yeah, go look at this for yourselves, guys. I mean, if you want to dive deeper into it, it's obviously public info. You can go on Google or whatever search engine that you use, type in Palantir Investor Relations, and you can do that with any publicly traded company, right? Type in the company, then type in Investor Relations, and boom, poof, you're going to see it all in front of you, and then you can spend as much time as you want on that information. So if we come over here to the charts again before we wrap up the video, guys, things are looking very good, like I said. And let me actually, before we wrap up the video, set my alert at $18.50. Actually, now we just broke over 18 bucks. Look at that, guys. So 18.50 is where I'm going to put my alert at. Mark is at or above. There we go. If that point breaks in the short term, even though we're overbought now, no doubt, keep that in mind. But it doesn't matter. Sometimes momentum could continue on here in the short term. If we plow through 18.50, I'm thinking we fill the gap to 2025, which was the high from early August, end of July. And if that were to break, man, we'll see where it goes from there. We'll talk about that in a future video, so make sure you guys subscribe, hit that like button, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Follow me on X as well, at Stocks Talk Stocks, and you might as well get your free stocks from Moo, guys. Use that link down below, or go to stocksurfest.com/Moo. Once you open up your account and fund it with your initial $100 deposit, you get 5 stocks right off the bat, each of which could be valued up to $2,000, and on top of that, you get a free share of SoFi stock just cause, why not? And that's a limited time, guys. That part of the promo is limited time, and if you fund your account with at least $1,000 using that link down below, you get 10 more stocks, totaling 16 stocks. And again, each of those could be valued up to $2,000, guys, so it's a no-brainer. Use that link down below, or go to stocksurfest.com/Moo. And full disclosure, that is an affiliate link. It helps out the channel. I appreciate you guys as always, and with that being said, cheers. I'll catch you all in the next one.